there is a void that cannot be removed except with the company of Allah, and in it there is a sadness that cannot be removed except with the happiness of knowing Allah and being true to Him, and in it there is an emptiness that cannot be filled except with love for Him and by turning to Him and always remembering Him. And if a person were given all of the world and what's in it, it would not fill this emptiness. A thought by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, all praise be to Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, we salute you all with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, from me, Hatim al-Absalam, and Dr. Wael Harrasi. Please, thank you so much for joining in today's program. Today's program is about tech kids. And our honorable guest today is Dr. Ali bin Amr al-Shidhan. I forgot his name.
He's your old friend. Come on.
Dr. Ali bin Amr al-Shidhan, who is a lecturer at SQU and an expert in technology. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ali.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah.
Forgive me, I'm a bit hungry today. And
it's okay.
I didn't have enough dinner last night.
Just between me and you, he's always like that.
Okay.
So how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Did I get the title right? Is it Cyber Kids or is it Tech Kids?
I don't know what happened today. Everything is not in place, and I hope.
I think it's okay.
I was waiting for the tune to start.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, welcome, Dr. Ali, to the show, and it's great to have you back here in the show. Last year, also we talked about technology and children.
Yes.
But this time you have something totally new to us.
Yes.
Last time we discussed the dangers of using technology and how wary should parents be with technology and children. This year, when we contacted you, you said, "Isn't this the same thing?" But you immediately came up with a new way to carry out this this duty of teaching parents how to utilize technology. And today we are going to discuss how can we make technology an integral part of our daily life, and how we can make it we can not only use it but be part in developing it. Children are so intelligent, so curious, and they would like to try out anything. How can we use technology? This is to underline the topic today. How can we utilize technology in enhancing creativity in our children?
And I think it's very important to underline and make it clear to our audience that today we're not discussing technology versus the old ways of doing things. So it's not either this or that. It's how to utilize technology in developing our children. So, Dr. Ali, to start off, why is this topic important?
Okay.
Why is technology important in our lives?
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank both of you for inviting me again to the show. And I would like to congratulate everyone for the blessed month of Ramadan. Although it's we are almost in the final days of the month, and pre-congratulate you on the coming Eid, inshallah. Eid al-Fitr.
I mean, thank you. Same to you.
My third congratulations is to you guys personally for this carrying out this show and putting down all this tremendous effort to disseminate this knowledge and to enlighten parents and families about interesting and sometimes controversial issues.
We've had our ups and downs.
I think it's all ups. Yeah.
Okay.
Even if it's controversial, it's stimulating the way people think and challenging the way they do things.
I totally agree with you.
Thank you very much. But anyway, it's not us you need to congratulate or thank. It's our guests and guests like you. We only facilitate. Yeah. And it's you guys who give all the knowledge.
But I don't want this to be back and forth, but the last thing I want to say about this, it's the way you select the topics and what do you want to address on those shows are really important, and they are of significance to our lives.
Yeah.
But back to the technology question and how important technology is. I think one of the things that we can start thinking about when it comes to technology is access to technology. If you think 40, 50 years back, the access to technology was very restricted to maybe wealthy businessmen who can afford buying a PC, or to big corporations who really need that, need servers or PCs or any other technology to do some business function.
Yeah.
That was like 30, 40 years back. Today, access to technology is everywhere, regardless of age, regardless of educational background, regardless of race, wealth. You can just name it. If you look at the life cycle of a three-year-old kid, he wakes up in the morning, he watches TV. The baby monitor is a tech device, watches DVDs, for example, plays with his parents' smartphones, or if there is a tablet at the household, then he will play with tablets, laptops, all around. Access is becoming, there is no barrier to access. Kids and adults alike, they can access technology with comfort and with ease. Now the thing is, this powerful device that they have, in their fingertips, it's so powerful, and it's a double-edged sword. It can be used for good, and it can, be dangerous at some point. So we don't want to talk about the negative side of it. We want to talk about the positive sides and how we can use technology to empower kids. But however, that's not only technical. Yeah. If we want to, let's say we want to give this tool to our kid to use it to enhance his education, or to give him extra self-developing skills, that cannot be attained only by giving him technology. This has also to be coupled with monitoring. It has to be coupled with coaching. It has to be coupled with involvement, parents' involvement. So the first thing that I want to clear out here is, it's not just throwing in that, device to the kid and my kid will become, a genius in using these gadgets. It has to be coupled with coaching and parenting. So that's how I want to start this conversation. It's not only our responsibility as parents. I'm a parent myself. I have 3 kids. Alhamdulillah. My responsibility is not only buying those gadgets and giving it to my kid and start wishful thinking and, wish that my kid will use it and will benefit from it. I have to be there to coach him somehow.
Children are tech savvy from a very, very young age. And maybe parents might think, you know what, technology is not my thing. I won't even bother. Let them do it. Or maybe I wouldn't want to introduce technology yet to my children because I don't think it's healthy, and all of that. However, it's a trend that we have to really respect because it's there. If we don't follow this particular trend, which has a lot of positive sides, I think we will be doing injustice to our children. And just to shed some light on what's happening around us today, I'll read out some statistics. For example, babies as young as 6 months old are playing with their parents' electronics. Yeah, and they could actually identify that this particular thing, this flat thing in front of me, I need to move my finger in it to change whatever appears in that screen. So at a very early age, they can start do that.
But if I can interrupt here, they do that because they imitate what the parent does. So they don't get it by themselves. They have. So whatever you do as a parent, you have to be sure that your kid will follow
Yes.
suit. That's how they get to know how to unlock the phone, how to unlock the any other device, and how to open videos, for example,
Yes.
how to take pictures. They see what parents do and they imitate.
I'm always amazed with the memory of the children, because at an early age, like 1 or 2, they can't read actually.
Yes.
They can't read the words, but they know how to navigate
Yes.
the phone.
Yes.
And where do they find the games, how to start the game, how to end the game, how to restart the game, how to exit.
Hatem, I want to follow up on this. So let's contrast this with kids' experience 20 years back. 20 years back, kids to experience something like this, the immediate reaction or the knowledge that this circular shape is an apple and the first letter is the letter A, and I can see it popping up from my screen, a kid has to first learn how to read, which will take them, 3-4 years to start learning how to read, or more, or maybe more, or less. Okay,
Yes.
but using new technologies, kids from the age of 2 can prompt this, can ask this information to come. So this is a new way, a new input to the kid to learn new information, which if you contrast this 20 years back, it takes kids longer time to absorb the same knowledge or a similar knowledge. So what I want to say here is that this technology introduced in an early age to kids can be introduced for good to educate somehow, to start with simple things like alphabets and maths. I think I interrupted you. So
No, I think
You got it right.
Today you have in the world there are children between the age of 2 and 5 year old. The skills they have in accessing internet, using a mobile phone, or playing a video game, you would have more children at that age group who can do these things, but they still can't either swim, ride a bicycle, or even tie their own shoelaces. Yeah. So you could see how technology is moving very fast and becoming one of the priorities in children's lives. That they learn to use, and I would like to emphasize on using,
but not developing.
Not at that age. We should not expect them at that age to start doing that. But they continue to be users even at a later stage. If we continue the statistics, you have 70% of children under 5 spend an average of half an hour daily online. And you have over 50% of children between 5 and 8 years old have used tablets to play. Maybe not to use it productively,
Yes.
but they use it to play. And that's a very large percentage. We're talking about 50%. The average teens in the world, globally, they have about 3.5 gadgets. The average teen would have about 3.5 gadgets. So a mobile phone, a video game, a music player, etc. A tablet, maybe a PC. Some would have even more. So the statistics are there, and 82% of 16 to 18-year-olds use Facebook every day.
From 18 to
16 to 18-year-olds.
16 to 18.
Now these are the statistics on users, and this is why we are talking about technology today in this show as an important aspect of our lives. We have introduced technology in our lives. We use it. That's fine. Last year we talked how to use it wisely. But today we want to take a step further and say, how could we be part in actually developing whatever we have at home? How can we use a digital camera to develop a skill in a child?
Well, what I wanted to say is that when Dr. Weil mentioned that many kids are attached to the technology, and they might not know how to swim or ride a bike or tie their shoelace. At the very beginning, you mentioned, Dr. Ali, that the children imitate their parents on using the mobile. And I think that part of development, which is swimming and riding a bike and tying a shoelace, is also associated with the parents not doing their part.
Exactly.
Because if you expose your children to swimming and riding a bike and how to tie a shoelace, I think they would be able to do it. It's not the fault of the technology, it's the fault of the parents that they have not taken their children through that experience.
And when we talk technology, we don't always mean gadgets. Yeah, if we want to prepare children to be developers, we need to stimulate thinking from a very early age. And it doesn't have to be with technology as tangible devices and being able to break them down or program it, because not everyone would like to be a programmer. There are a lot of other skills, scientific skills, that people could develop in their children. There are scientific kits. You could start with a biology kit, science kit, chemistry kit, physics kit, energy. There is so you could have children start putting things together
in an early age, starting from an early age.
From a very early age.
I can even go further than that, Dr. Wael. Just taking your kid to the beach and building a beach castle.
Yes.
Sandcastle.
Or sandcastle. That you are rooting in the basics of civil engineering in the kid.
Yes.
Without using technology.
Yeah.
But and that's civil engineering is science. So yes, I agree with you. But with technology, since it's there,
yes.
Why don't we use it for?
We can use it
for good and for developing our children's skills.
See, if we want to take a 10-year-old, for example, or 11-year-old to be a programmer, he will have to have some sort of interest, and that's number one. Secondly, we would have to stimulate the way he thinks from a very early stage. Now, how can we do that if we want him to be, let's say, a programmer? We can't do that with a child at very early stage. A 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old. It's quite difficult. So what we do, we just stimulate his brain to be adaptive with science, thinks scientifically, and act scientifically. So he could use these little kits to do things and make things work. You could take something that is not moving at all, put it together, put a battery in it, and there you go. It's working. Yeah,
and they are available in the market. I've seen them.
They are.
Yeah, different kits for, as you said, biology, for electronic kits as well.
Yes, and electronics. So you could have a child build an electric circuit.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you take them a step further. Once they have done this and they've saturated, you take them into a computer, which they already know how to use, how to print, how to write, and then you take them. Okay, maybe we can create a game. So, do we have? I think things have become simple. For example, just to deviate just a little bit away, editing movies. Editing movies was something that is quite difficult before computer and computer softwares. Today, you have a lot of SMEs, small and medium enterprises, initiated by people who have never done anything in media before.
Yeah.
And using technology, using just PCs in producing videos, audio clips, just using PCs.
Yes.
They have, adapted their interest into something and created a business. So they became developers. In the same way, writing a piece of a code was very difficult initially. Now it's become easier. Can you please highlight what is out there that will enable children to write a code, for example?
Let's take writing a code, for example.
Okay.
There are so many applications now, smartphone applications that also can be ported to a tablet, that teaches kids how to write a code. And not to write it, not to type the code down. No, it's all visual. And so it's a drag and drop, and it teaches kids cause and effect. If I do this, then this will happen. So let's take an example. A kid can draw a square. That square resembles a football pitch, and one side of the square is where the goal is, and the other side is where the other goal is, and then there is a ball. It's another circle. So cause and effect. If this ball hits the goal, then that's a goal. So you start counting. You say 1, 1, 0. If it hits that goal again, 20, cause and effect. If this happens, do that. Kids can do this visually without the need to know any code, any line of code. There are apps, free apps to do that. There are software programs to do that. I remember the name of a software program. I don't remember the name of the apps, although I have them here in my tablet. I can look them up. But there's a software program called Scratch, for example. Very powerful. Kids at the age of starting from 5, 6 years old, they don't need to know any code. They can use this Scratch software. It's free. You can download it for free. They can use the Scratch software to build games. As I said, a football game or basketball game, or if you, I don't know what's the name of that game where you have sticks and you try to balance the ball between sticks. That can easily be done using this program. But again, it depends if the kid has interest into this. Yes. And you might need to invest maybe half an hour or 1 hour teaching your kid the basics of this. Basics of the interface of this program, and the rest can be carried out by the kid himself. So there are programs for kids that helps them stimulate their thinking and develop and come up with a product. At the end, it becomes a product.
You mentioned something very important and here, which we need to really slow down and spend some time on it.
Okay.
You said we need to invest. Yeah, we need to invest half an hour to sit with our children to help them develop.
Yeah,
they are better than me.
We are lost.
No,
I'm just reflecting. And echoing probably what the listeners are saying.
Let me clarify. Do you know what do I mean by investing half an hour in teaching your kid? This means accessing YouTube and typing how to start a project in Scratch, for example. The name of the program that I was is Scratch. You will find a YouTube video, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It will show you exactly how to start a project and how to pull down menus and so on. You don't have to be tech savvy. Again, all what you need to invest in is your time. Once you get this, because you don't want your kid to access YouTube, right?
Yes.
You don't want him to go there and do this. But if you allow your kid to go to YouTube, then your kid can do that.
Okay.
If he's old enough, if he's 7, 8 years old, then he can imitate what's on YouTube and do it. So I'm not saying that you have to be tech savvy to know this, because these softwares are not very far off from the usual software that we use every day, like Microsoft Word and so on.
So the message here that that you would like to give parents is that, you know what, you don't have to know everything.
No.
But if you want a piece of information, nowadays it's really, really easy to get hold of.
Exactly.
You could just type it in Google, type whatever you want, in any way you could think of. Just type it in Google. It's smart enough to understand what exactly you're looking for. Or you can type it in YouTube and find an instruction video.
Yes.
I'm sure if you want to make cheese, if that's what you want, you'll find it. You'll find it in YouTube. The same goes if you want to teach your child how to use a technology, you'll find it on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what I'm saying here is those applications that can teach kids how to learn programming from an early age, they are available as apps, and you can download them to your iPad. You don't have to be in that formal setting in front of a PC or in front of a laptop. You can be lying down on your couch with your kid, with your iPad, and start very simple. I'm trying to bring the names. I know I have them here, but maybe during the break, the break, we can look for those. It becomes a social event, a daily social routine when you sit with your children and teach them, rather than just, you know what, you go on YouTube, you look for it, I don't have to know.
Little learners.
So that's your tablet. Okay. And I think it's a better idea, rather than just tell them go to YouTube, you do it, so you could spend some quality time with your children as well.
Okay. So now I want to emphasize, when it comes to technology, one of the basic things is to learn programming. Why this is important? Because everything else right now is based on software. Any device you have, any modern device has some hardware component and software component. The hardware component requires knowledge of hardware and integrated circuits and so on, and that's maybe difficult even for adults. But software, that's something that you can learn if you have a laptop or if you have a PC or if you have a tablet. That's something that you can learn. So once you install this basic knowledge of software, basic knowledge of programming into kids, they will have this added weapon with them that can help them later on. If they become developers in the future, that's fine, because developing software is a multi-million-dollar industry now.
Exactly.
And
no matter what you want your child to be, when they go to university, I think we need to think ahead. When children are at the age of 5, we need to think that regardless of what they choose to be in the future, doctors, scientists, whatever, businessmen, it is really imperative that they learn how to program things. Because once you are able to be a programmer and program things, you can excel in your discipline. Yeah, if you're a doctor and you want to design a software that would help your patients, help you as a doctor, you'll be able to do that.
Yes, you can automate services.
You can automate services. You can do a lot of things. And today the world excels, and countries, they excel because they invest in teaching their children programming.
Yes.
Programming does not need any capital investment.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. It's just you and your time.
I always like to give this example. The application WhatsApp. Everyone is using it.
Yes.
Originally, it's a piece of code running on servers. 4 years back, 4 or 5 years back, it was not there.
Yes.
It was developed. It's such a key application that everyone is using. It got popular. Facebook bought it for $19 billion.
Within 4 years?
4 years. I'm talking about
return on investment.
Yeah, a very high return on investment, because there's no investment there. The capital is your laptop, and then later on you need to buy servers and data centers to save information. But you see how powerful is this? Compare this to manufacturing a car, for example.
Yes.
Now that requires some tech knowledge and
space
and so on.
Resources.
Exactly.
This is a gap. This is a gap, or this is an opportunity. Let's say, an
Yes.
opportunity for parents. They really need to utilize and teach their children this particular skill. Yeah.
Okay. Can we move on to something else?
We'll move on after the break.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll move on after the
But
break.
before the break, we'd like to remind our listeners for our numbers 24602058. 24602058.
The great thing about online and giving your kids some rule of the road. I mean, we didn't grow up with the internet, most of us at home, so we're trying to think these rules that we were taught, how do I use them for the internet? And guess what? The old school rules, they still apply. So that don't talk to strangers rule, it applies online. But what parents have to realize is it doesn't mean the same thing. I'll give you an example. When I teach a new group of kids an internet safety class, they'll all raise their hand and say, I'm not allowed to talk to strangers. I'll say, how about online? I'm not allowed to talk to strangers, I don't do it online. And I'll walk through a simple exercise with them and I'll say, well, how about if I'm friends with somebody on Facebook, you've met me, if my friend on Facebook friends you, will you accept it even though you've never met them? And they say, sure, because I know you and I trust your judgment. And I say, kids, that person's a stranger. And they say, well, you know them, they're not a stranger. And I said, well, even better, what if actually I've never met them either? A friend of mine was friends with them and they sent me a friend request. And we play the example out in class and the kids suddenly realize, I'm talking to strangers online. But it gets worse, because I'll say, hey kids, when you go home tonight, unfriend those people you've never met. And they say, I'm not sure about that. Couldn't that be cyberbullying? Because I'm unfriending somebody? And I go, no, you can't cyberbully somebody you don't know. You're just unfriending them, not making fun of them, not calling them names. So parents need to understand that old school rule still applies, but it means something different to kids today. So you need to walk through with them what not talking to strangers really means. The second piece is, I always say the grandmom rule. So if you wouldn't want your grandmom to see you doing something, don't do it. Same thing online. If grandmom would be appalled to see that video, that picture, that mean thing you're getting ready to say, don't do it. And then the last old school rule that still applies is don't take candy from strangers. On the internet, there's constant pop-ups asking for your name, asking for information, promising you could win an iPad, promising you're going to be in some contest. It all sounds great, but these are strangers trying to trick you out of information by offering you candy. So that rule still applies online. 3 easy rules to explain. Make sure you also give scenarios with those rules to your kids, and they'll get it and they'll follow it.
The modern family. Let us bridge the gap between generations. Let us shape up the modern family. The modern family. The modern family. Join the discussion and give us your feedback. Live with Hatim Al-Abdussalam and Dr. Wa'il Al-Harasi. The modern family.
I always thought about, and I just wanted to be there with you. Please that.
Dear listeners, welcome back to your show, The Modern Family, with Dr. Ali bin Amr al-Shidhani, an expert in technology. And we stopped at a point, Dr. Ali, and you said that there are other means. You said maybe parents who are might be intimidated with programming. And there are other things.
Yes.
So please.
Yeah, so we also have other softwares in our disposal, like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. So how about this? If a kid wants have a homework assignment about rocks, why don't we turn this to a fun experience? Ask the kid to collect pictures about rocks online under your supervision, and put them as a PowerPoint presentation. Now you're teaching your kid how to use PowerPoint. This will help him later on to be able to present. This will help him to collect information and address audience. So it's not only programming here. We also have other softwares available. We can help kids to get to know them. Take image editing softwares, for example. Kids usually can take pictures using digital cameras. Then you ask your kid to play around with pictures, turn them to black and white, or change the colors, and so on. So there are ways that we can use technology to let the kid explore new things.
The thing is, Dr. Ali, is sometimes as parents we only introduce new things to our children which are applicable for their studies, for their school, for their homework, but we're not really creative in teaching them things which are out of that circle.
Yes.
Like the examples that you gave. So maybe some of us would say that, why would my child need to know PowerPoint now? He has another few years to go until he goes to college. But it is very essential for them to use that tool.
Yes.
It's a very skillful tool and enjoyable.
And it's enjoyable.
And they're going to need it when they grow up. So why not?
Why not?
Most of the time we say that there's nothing to give our children. We don't, they're always bored. There's nothing to entertain them.
Yes.
So we just make them, watch
TV.
A lousy program on the TV.
Let's take another example.
Yeah.
How about using Microsoft Word to build a family tree?
Oh,
it's an enjoyable experience where you can, drag boxes. And you write on the box the father, mother, and the kids, the name of the uncles and aunties. It's an enjoyable experience for the kid. The kids gets to learn how to use this new whatever available software. It will help them also. How many times have you tried to explain to your kids how this person is related to you?
Especially to the Omani community, man. Everybody is related to everybody.
Yes. So utilizing like Microsoft Word, for example, to do something useful like this, you hit more than one bird
with a stone.
Mesquite.
If it's possible.
It's always hitting birds. I hope our environment friends don't
animal rights
friends don't be angry.
No animals were hurt in the making of this show.
What other examples are there, Dr.
Yeah, so
Ali?
I wanted to show you this very funny application.
We'll try our best to describe it to our listeners. So you are now showing us an application.
Yes.
Is this Scratch or is it?
No. This is not Scratch. Not Scratch. This is the name of the application is Daisy the Dinosaur.
Daisy the Dinosaur. Okay.
Daisy the Dino. All right. So very basic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a screen here showing a dinosaur, and there is like a control command where the kid can instruct the dinosaur to do something. What do you want this dinosaur to do?
Okay.
Let's say, for example, you want the dinosaur to move, then you drag it, move.
So you drag the command,
drag the command
to a box.
To a box, and then you select whether you want to move forward or backwards.
Okay.
And then you can see the effect of this move. Play. And the dinosaur
moves.
Okay.
Okay. So you have the set of commands on your left.
Exactly.
Which says move, drag, and other things.
Exactly.
So you choose and you drag it to the top box.
Now you can also ask the dinosaur to turn. You can ask the dinosaur to grow.
Okay.
So at some point the dinosaur grows big, or turn and come back. So you see, you do different action, or to repeat this exercise.
Can you do this? Can you change the sequence?
Yes, I think you can.
So can he grow and then walk and then turn? Yes, things like that.
Can you teach him to say Hatim?
Okay. Now here's the thing. This program is very simplistic, so it does only those simple things. And when kids know how this thing works, again, back to the cause and effect that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Now, when he grows up and starts learning real programming, real coding, now the logic becomes easier for him. Mm-hmm. Now he knows what he's doing. What is the sequences that you have to go through? Plus, obviously, with this, I can't ask him to say what is Hatim. But later on, when he learns how to program, now he can do endless number of things. Here it's very restricted and limited to do only few things. Yes. Just to teach the kid what's going to happen and how, once you do something, how you can see the result of that action.
And I'm sure there are other programs for targeting older children. Older children, which would add a little bit more complexity to it. You're showing us now another one?
Another one, hopscotch. Again, you choose a character, for example, a frog or a dinosaur or any character.
Okay.
And then you have list of commands again. You want this character to move, rotate, change by X, so enlarge by an amount like 10%, 100%, and so on.
You want to make him fat or tall. Yeah, you can do that.
So as a parent, you can go to YouTube and see how this works. Or you can explore it yourself. 10, 20 minutes.
I think it would be enjoyable for a parent as well to try it and by themselves. And
so basically this is the foundation of programming. The only thing is this is visual.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is no codes.
There's no codes in there. But once kids understand the logic behind this, that how to repeat things, what are the sequences that you have to take to achieve a goal.
Yes.
Then when they grow up and start learning programming, it becomes easier for them.
Yeah. No, that is really great.
I find this game or this programming tool very, very interactive, very and very enjoyable, and I think our children would benefit instead of playing Temple Run or other things, which they keep on running and you don't see
forever.
The result out.
This is one thing. Another thing that also interests children is digital cameras. Yeah, so you have digital cameras and they take endless photos. You could teach them how to turn this hobby or just a use of a video camera or a digital camera into something more productive. Teach them a skill. So you tell them, for example, to take a photo, use that photo, and maybe create a piece of article like a newspaper or a magazine article. Write something about it, print it out, produce it. You could use that digital camera to maybe make an interview with their fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers.
Yes.
Interview them.
Especially during Eid.
Yes, especially during Eid. Take shots and then you could teach them to use some editing, very simple
The
editing
Photoshop.
programs. Photoshop is very advanced. It's
yeah.
maybe it's too much for them, but I'm talking video editing
But I think
as well.
we are underestimating the capabilities of the children. Really, I think if we expose them to Photoshop and similar programs,
And it's
they
a
would
very
be able to
expensive
cope.
one as well. We don't encourage pirating. Yeah, it's very as an alternative. There is a free an open source software called GIMP. Yeah, which gives you more or less everything that you can do in Photoshop. You can do it in GIMP. Yeah, and now there is the whole idea of open source software is about just normal people developing software for free.
Yes.
And I'm sure, I haven't came across, but I'm sure if you go to open source website that promote open source, you would have a lot of softwares that teaches you, or maybe some forums that teach you how you could program a software.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, open source is picking up in the last couple of like maybe the last 2 decades.
Yes.
Also, Oman as a country is investing in open source. There are some programs put in place to encourage the community to use open source programs. The only maybe slight disadvantage about open source is that it's not as user friendly or convenient as proprietary softwares, fully packaged softwares which comes with support and everything. That's why maybe it's not 100% good for kids who rather use a fully packaged type of software.
What I meant is that maybe parents could go into these websites because open source means that people just create things using basic knowledge or sometimes even complex knowledge they have. Maybe they would share how to write a software, write information about how to write a code, how to do this, how this was done, because they are promoting the distribution of free software. So they would always share the know-how.
Yep.
And maybe this is one way to direct your children to go and seek information from there. Yeah. Going back to the digital camera.
Okay.
You can still teach your children how to use sophisticated software in video editing, and then create a video showing that interview. Yeah, and you could maybe do a lot of things with softwares that rather than just take photos, store them. You could do more creative things and maybe teach them that maybe you could sell whatever you have made. If you go into a picnic or during Eid, you can have your children make a collage of photos.
Yes.
And then maybe print it in a canvas and maybe sell it to the family.
Yes.
And I think we lack the belief in our children. If we assign these tasks to our children in family functions, for example, if my child has a camera, then you announce to the family that whoever has a function, my son is going to, do the filming and edit, and then you take them through the steps of learning how to edit and how to change the pictures, and you're enabling them to do these functions.
Yes.
We're not saying cameras are the only thing. We're just mentioning this because I think almost every household would have a camera, at least in a phone. Yeah.
I also want to. I don't want to, put all the pressure on parents. I think we were discussing this off the air. A couple of 20, 30 years back, teaching Quran was, that was the norm in schools, Quran with some mathematics. Now you see there is science, history, physics, and so on. And I think now it's the time to introduce these topics, technology-related topics, not how to use them, but how to develop them, introduce them in our schools. And
Dr. Weil said they are there, and he gave a very good example. What did you say, Dr. Weil? I think all the schools need to hear this. What did you say?
Yeah, I think a lot of schools, they're teaching us how to hold the mouse. Yeah,
that I don't know, maybe that was for us digital immigrants. We are digital immigrants. We came to know the digital life only later in our life. But our kids are digital natives. They are surrounded with digital equipments from day one. So for them, they don't need someone to teach them how to hold the mouse. So we need to take them to the next step.
Now,
yes, schools have to invest.
We're talking about institutions.
Yes.
Schools or
yes.
other institutions.
I because again, parents might not be capable of doing all this. This has to be dealt in an institutional level. Every institution has a role to play. When you talk from an educational side, for example, how to embed this new technologies, developing them in a primary school. I recall an example here. The UK found that new kids or the new generation of kids, they don't favor learning programming. So what they did is a group of scientists, they developed a board called the Raspberry Pi board. It's a very small board. It's as big as your credit card, and it's an electronic board, and it's very cheap, $35. And the whole purpose of this board is to teach students and kids how to code, because this board has a mini operating system. And from that and it has educational softwares like Scratch is also included there. So you can gift it to a kid with some instruction, and they can start coding and see. They can develop games, they can develop programs, and so on.
So how do you use it? Does it have a screen, or
you have to hook it up to a screen? It doesn't have a screen. It's just like a credit card size board. You have to hook it up to a screen. It has output, USB outputs, and so on.
So you can hook it up to a TV?
A TV, exactly. So it has HDMI input, AV input. So you can hook it up to a TV. You can hook it up to a mouse, to a keyboard if you want.
Are they available here? I have not seen.
Yes, because these are very particular. They are not mainstream. They are available, but you have to order them online.
Amazon?
I don't think you find them on Amazon. You can find them on RS Labs. If you search for RS Labs, and RS Labs, they have an agent here in Oman that they can supply it to you. So it's $35. So, but the idea is, this was the experience that the UK went through, and now this Raspberry Pi kit became very successful. And it's used everywhere to do many projects, not only by kids but also by adults as well. So if the UK felt that the new generation is not favoring programming so much, then this is a big problem. We have to do something before that problem reaches here. So this is one thing. Education. How about education for parents? Yes, that's the key.
Yeah.
How about education for parents?
Yeah.
I've never seen any institutional body here in Oman giving parents coaching on how to handle kids with technology.
We're depending on people like you, Sally. So you have our support.
Okay. So you see what I'm talking about here. A camp, a workshop, where we gather parents and we tell parents how to guide your kid through this sea of gadgets, how to teach your kids using gadgets, because also parents might need coaching as well. And if we have an institution that can do that, that will be very helpful, instead of just depending on the parent to self-learn all these new things. So that's why I'm saying this is, I want to take this from an institutional level, not only individual level. Okay, how about encouraging kids to innovate in technology?
Yeah.
We are investing so much in innovation incubators and so on for the unemployed. We are talking about 18, 19 years old. Well, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
How about starting early?
Mm-hmm.
Start with workshops. Start with introducing these new technologies, how to program, how to use boards like this to kids. Later on, maybe the process of innovating becomes easier because they can now master the tools in an early stage instead of start all this cycle when the person is already 18, 19 years old.
But you need incentives for that. If you teach children at a very early age, if they don't have any reason to do it again and again and again,
yes.
One, they will lose interest and they will lose the skill as well. I think you need to have some sort of incentive, especially when we are talking about institutional. We need to take institutional if we are serious about it. Yeah, if we're serious about teaching children technology and be innovative in technology, then they need to have a lot of support. That support could be in one way, for example, having competitions. Yeah, you could have competitions, and then the winner or the first 3 winners of this competition would get, let's say, sponsorship. Yeah. So a business entity would sponsor that project to further develop it or even sell it. Yeah.
If my memory serves me right, I think the Ministry of Education is also conducting some competitions, robotic competitions. But they are very, I think they are somehow basic, but it's a step in the right direction. We need to have more of that. The other thing I want to emphasize here is big companies in Oman, corporates. How are they helping in bridging this digital divide between the wealth and the poor? We have poor families in Oman who they don't have access to technology whatsoever.
I think the last initiative was from the government itself and not from businesses.
Yes,
of offering laptops
to students. Yes, that was. But that's why I'm not talking about government here. I'm talking about companies.
Yeah.
What is their involvement here in bridging this digital divide between the wealth and the poor? Wealth and poor families, because now you can see that wealthy families, they have access to these devices, but poor families might not, and this creates what we call the digital divide.
I think, Dr. Ali, the direction has to start from the government, and then the institution will follow. You know, the main goal should be presented by the government, that this is our goal. Let's say to wipe out illiteracy in technology.
Yes.
And then they encourage the private sector and the organization and industries to donate or contribute or run these type of programs, and then it goes. But for an institution to have this initiative by themselves, I think most of them.
I mean, this is how it should be, Hatim.
But they're not specialized in this. Yeah,
you shouldn't always legislate for things to happen.
No, it's not a legislation. Yeah? I'm just saying that the government should put a word out there that this is what we're planning to do, and whoever is interested, can join the race.
But the government is so busy with taking care of the country and a lot of things, yeah. And there are a lot of things that we need to be done. Why aren't the corporate take just their social responsibility towards the country? One, the government already did a lot for these companies to be up there and help them in more than one way. Yeah. Secondly, we, as the citizens of this country, we are the first customers who made these companies rich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's part of their responsibility to take the initiative and pay back.
The way I see it is that it's not always that the corporations don't want to give. As they do,
but they need instruction.
They need instruction because that is not their line of business.
Exactly.
Okay, they need someone to be the custodian to develop this project, to take care of this project. They don't want just to pump money into a project and then nobody is taking care of it. And they have a business to run.
Yes,
they won't be able to allocate people to do that. So, but when Dr. Weil said the government is busy in doing a lot of things, but the government has allocated different sectors, divisions to do that, like ITA and other. Those are specialized in technology,
Yeah.
They should lead the race.
Yes.
They should go and follow up with the organization.
I
They
agree
should
with
go
Hatem.
and find the sponsorship.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, I'm not buying it from you.
I'm leaving the studio. Okay.
Okay.
You are a founder of an organization.
Yes.
What role does your organization play in promoting such an initiative?
I don't know if labeling it as an organization is a fair statement here, because it's just an initiative. It's let's put it. Let's put it as an initiative.
It's famous.
Dr. Ali, I think Dr. Weil wants you to shoot yourself in the foot. So it's up to you. Man, if you
No,
want to
not really. It's because I follow you on Twitter.
You do?
Yes, I do.
MashaAllah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, what we do, well, basically we try to disseminate knowledge.
Maybe
we are not targeting.
Introduce our listeners. What is your organization? Maybe
Yes.
some of them don't know.
Yes, we run an initiative. In English, it's Tech 15. In Arabic, it's صوت عمان تقني. We try our best to disseminate knowledge in terms of knowledge, text, videos,
Through the media.
through different through different social media means, to teach people about technology, news, and also to run some competitions sometimes, like finding the best Omani app competition.
I like the short videos that you do for every new mobile phone
Yes.
that come up.
Yes.
You test them and you
Yes.
give them the information about the mobile phones
Yes.
and the technology and which one is best,
Which one is better,
better
yes.
than the other,
Yeah.
and what is the function in that
Yeah.
phone. I think that,
Yeah, but the
that is
thing,
very good.
till now we didn't really focus on kids per se. It's general
Yes.
for everyone.
Is there-
You caught me by surprise here, because I wanted to talk about something completely different.
No, it's because we like the initiative, and I
Okay.
said I follow you on Twitter, and there is one particular thing that I really like that you posted.
I posted?
On
okay, whenever.
Tech 15.
Okay.
It says in Arabic. So it says, when you buy a phone, do you care about the size of the screen? But some people really don't.
He always teases me because of the
Of the
size
size.
of my screen, but I just
We need to employ someone to carry his.
let me
Allahumma nisai,
let me tell you this, and this might be a good segue to where I want to go next.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the size of the screen is good for your kids. It's more healthy. For that size, maybe kids have to squint to read.
Dr. Ali,
But for a bigger size, then
I am 100% convinced of the size of my screen. Can you tell it to Dr. Weil? Because he seems...
Dr. Ali, I don't agree with you at all, because I don't give my children
Okay.
my phone. It's dangerous for children under 12 years old. So please, dear listeners, for the first time ever, I'm saying this to you: do not listen to our guest.
Okay, I have to counter argue you,
Okay.
because
Can we go for a short break,
Okay,
and
sure.
then you can counter argue? I think it's time for a short break. Before that, our listeners can call us on 24602058. That's 24602058.
Until then, we'll have a fist fight.
The companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the tabi'een and the atba tabi'een, those men and women who were around, who surrounded, who supported, who followed, who listened, who obeyed, who loved, who sacrificed for the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were the strangers. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, this religion, it began as a stranger. سيعود لغريبا فتوبى لغرباء فتوبى لغرباء فتوبى لغرباء. the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, this religion, this deen, in the beginning it came as a stranger, and it will return again as a stranger. So welcome, glad tidings to the strangers. We are the strangers. The deen was strange. Even the language was strange, although it was the language of the Arabs. But they didn't know when the Quran said, قَدْ أَفْلَهَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا.
The Modern Family.
Dear listeners, welcome back to The Modern Family with Dr. Ali bin Amr al-Shidhani, an expert in technology. And we were debating on the size of our screen, but now I think it's about time to move on to something else. So, Dr. Ali, you're going to take us through a very important part of this discussion today,
Yes.
which is technology and health.
Yes. First, a disclaimer: I'm not a health person, but I've seen some. I read some reports, and I want to reflect on them.
Okay.
So when I told Hatem here that his screen size is good for his kids' health, Dr. Wael jumped in and he said, "No, I don't. Well, his screen size is fine with him because he doesn't give it to his kids because less than 12 years old it's dangerous for them somehow." So there is always this question. When it comes to smartphones, there is always this question about radiation and how negatively it affects the health of kids or adults and so on. And really, there is this debate.
Yes.
One of the things that we have to keep in mind that if we want to study something like this, which is the effect of radiation on kids, then we need a long-term research, because it will take us with the if we have sample of kids, we want to examine them every now and often and see if really some effects have taken place in 2, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. And smartphones are not an old technology. It's relatively new, 10, 20 years.
No, not
But
even 10.
we're not talking about
10.
smartphone, but we're talking about phones
in general, like screen, for example, the screen display.
I'm talking about the radiation of a phone, which we have these phones for over 20 years.
No, not smartphones.
Phones, because the antenna is the same. It hasn't changed.
No, the antenna in smartphones are different than the landline phones. Landline phones don't have antennas.
No, I'm talking about mobile phones.
Yes.
Mobile phones, you remember when we had the old innocent phones where you can call and text and that's it.
That's it, 96, 95.
Yeah. So the frequencies are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that is what's
worrying you.
What worries a lot of people.
So I want to quote here what I have read. This is published by the World Health Organization.
Okay.
So the World Health Organization has classified mobile phone radiation as possibly carcinogenic to humans.
Yes.
So what does that mean? Possibly carcinogenic to humans.
Yes or no?
I'm coming to that. So they give it a group 2B. So they classified mobile phone radiations as group 2B, which possibly causes cancer, but evidence from human and animal studies are less than sufficient.
Yes.
Possibly, it can do that, but the evidence that we have right now, we can't conclude for fact,
for sure
that it will cause cancer. Let's look at. So there are evidence, but not convincing. This is group 2B. Yeah. Group 1 is smoking and alcohol. In smoking and alcohol, so evidence are there that they cause cancer.
Yes,
and it has been proved.
And I think today, Dr. Ali, with a lot of things that cause cancer around us. Not only smartphones, you have junk food, you have the pollution, you have the sun, you have, every single thing. Yeah. The toothpaste, the perfumes, everything causes cancer.
So what does it mean then?
No, what it means is that when they say that it most possibly it will cause, as you said, Dr. Ali, there's nothing that has been proven And you said
Yes.
the time is very short
Yes.
for them to observe that someone has been affected.
But I have to also say this. Here we're talking about normal usage. Okay. Now, when it comes to excessive usage, now the likelihood of getting cancer or brain tumor or whatever is multiplied by factors. Excessive usage.
And here I would like to also just comment on Hatim's what Hatim said is that there is no evidence. No, the World Health Organization did not say that there is no evidence that this is not carcinogenic. It is carcinogenic, and studies so far have shown that it has tendency to be carcinogenic. However, that evidence is not yet conclusive to say 100% it will be that way. So you have research that's started already. You start and see indications. Those indications are there to tell you something. However, you can't rely 100% on them.
Yes.
As human beings, we need to take these research with caution, with care, with respect, and utilize it positively. We don't say it's not 100% conclusive, so I will just use it recklessly. No.
Yes, but also we don't want to propagate false information as well. We don't want to tell people. Let's say you deprive kids from using maybe laptops or tablets because of a false belief that it 100%.
It's not a false belief.
No, but I mean, if it's a normal usage, not an excessive use of.
Other than this research, there is an independent research that looked into children's use under the age of 12, and it increases the effects, the negative effects of radiation by 80%.
Okay, I think we have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Walaikum salam, sir. How are you?
Can you please turn up?
This radiation you're talking now.
Excuse me, brother. Can you turn down your radio first?
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Now we are talking about radiation on the mobile phone. I just want to know why these manufacturers they don't write on the label that this is a permissible limit according to the World Health Organization.
Okay, that's a valid point, but
see, anybody talks anything, but let the manufacturer write on the label, no, on the back of the mobile or inside the mobile where you put your SIM card that this radiation permissible limit as per the World Health Organization is so much. Nobody writes because they will lose business.
Well, basically, also there is no regulation for them to mention that on the mobile phones on the product. Just take an example. Take example of the.
Sir, when the product is connected with the radiation and radiation is harming the people in one way or the other, no matter what the researchers have been made on the animals, but on the human bodies. What research has been made on human bodies, we are not aware. But let them write. Nobody writes.
But there is this information is available. If you go to the websites of these manufacturers, for every type of phone, you can go to the specifications of those phones, and you would actually see the radiation mentioned there. Yeah, it's called the SAR, S-A-R.
Signal.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So the SAR values for all mobile phones are available online. You can find them on independent websites or even in the manufacturer's websites. So if you go to Samsung, for example, if you look for the SAR value for the phone that you might have, you'll find it there. The SAR value for iPhone, you'll find it there. Yeah? And you would find that some of them even use it in marketing. Yeah, that the SAR value of our phone is much lower, is the lowest in the market. This has been a debate for a very long time. So the information is there.
The lowest in the market, it has. See, we have to educate. You have to educate people. What is the lowest in the market?
Well, this also falls into the responsibility of individuals to actually be. They're able to read. They're able to research. So they need to go and search for it. The information is there. The information is there. The manufacturer has put it there, but the manufacturer cannot tell each buyer of their product, go and read it. Yeah,
They print everything on the outer carton of the box, and they don't print this item. For this, we have to go to the website.
See, this will have to be legislated. It's like buying cigarettes, huh?
Yeah, previously there was no sign saying that it will cause you cancer, but now because of the regulation,
the regulations tell them they must mention it. In the United Kingdom, for example, they must put pictures of lungs of smoke.
Even here.
Yeah, but here is
to the labeling standards of Oman, you have to mention the production expiry date, ingredients, storing capacity, the place you have to store, in what temperature you have to store. But if this is eluded from the cartoons and information, what I feel is it has to be printed to let everybody read it rather than going to the website and seeing it.
Yeah.
That's what my point. Anyway, radiation also definitely affects the individuals, and no matter what researches have been done on animals, but on the individuals, it definitely affects.
Thank you very much for your call. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so I wanted to follow up. When we talked about our responsibility as institutions,
yes,
from an educational perspective, maybe Ministry of Education has to play a role in introducing technology in an early age.
Yeah.
From a health perspective, maybe Ministry of Health also should take a bigger part in awareness. We can't, as individuals, read pile of papers and research about screen sizes and radiations and come up with a firm conclusion here. So I also would like to appeal to Ministry of Health to disseminate more knowledge about how technologies can affect the health of kids and adults alike.
Yes.
I think we have another call. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes.
And wish you a happy Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you.
Okay, just before my call, there was another call.
Yeah.
And, this gentleman was arguing on the star.
Yes.
Information that is there on the products.
Yes.
Yeah. So which is, I wanted to tell you and all the listeners that, all these handouts, these mobile handouts,
yeah,
they have this information, where you have the warranty card.
So it's
then you have the agreement. All mobile companies, they have their SAR listed. So it's on to an individual of how curious he is to know of the products. So everything is listed.
So when you open the box of the mobile, you'll find the manual and you have the agreement,
exactly.
and the information is there.
Right. You have the manual and everything is written in the manual.
Okay.
So we take everything for granted and we don't, look into it, which is everything is there. But, also I want to tell you on this, the cancerous things that we're discussing around, like, one of your, speaker earlier said that there are so many things that is cancerous. It's, it's onto an individual to maybe research into it. I'll give an example. We've been using plastic extensively for our cooking and for the food. You have plastic spoons when you can cook with them, and then you have plastic utensils which you put in the microwave. You have plastic cups, that you use to drink tea.
Yes.
And then it's, it's when you research about them, that's when you get to know, which product is cancerous and which is not. Now, if you go in the market, and if you ask for a plastic cup, it's like whatever is cheap, you look into the pocket and they give you some certain products. So every plastic product has a number to it. If you look at the back side, so number 5 is food grade. Other than number 5, if you use for food or for consumption of anything, that is cancerous.
This is very valid information, brother.
Thank you
very much for sharing that.
Right. So, no, what I'm trying to say here is, whatever we're using, it's like we need to have extensive knowledge about it. Now, there was a research in Europe. If you look into it, I don't know, who's done it. But what they say is, if you leave your water bottle in the car and if it gets too heated and if you drink that water, it is cancerous.
Yes.
If you sit in the car which is heated, you turn on the AC because the car has plastic, So whatever fumes comes out of the plastic, if you inhale that is benzene. The plastic, when it's heated, it gives out benzene. Benzene is cancerous. You should open your windows for maybe a few minutes, turn on the AC, let the heat go out, and then sit in.
That was the point that we were discussing.
It's like, as humans, there are limitations to everything. We need to know what are the limitations, advantages of things that we're using, and then we save on to it.
Thank you very much, brother, for your valid points, and
thank you for your time.
I think we need to take account of what you have said, and the previous caller also, they can go and check also in the box of the mobile for the information that they were looking for. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The information is everywhere. It's like you have to, be onto it, as in be proactive into looking for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nowadays, technology has made it very easy for Google. We have Google, when we can just go and search anything.
Basically, we humans are used to spoon feeding, so that's to cut the story short. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dr. Ali.
Yes. I wanted to share with you a study that I found really interesting. So there was a research. So I'm an academician, so I love research, and so there is a research by two researchers, one from University of Edinburgh, and the other one from Strathclyde University from the UK. What they have done is they've examined 50 kids, 3 to 4 years old kids, for the duration of more than 1 year, to try to build a relationship between kids' development and technology, and how technology can affect children's development. And they came up with the paper. They call it the 7 myths about young children and technology. 7 myths. So it means things that people think it's true, but this research found not to be
the other way around.
Yes. Yeah. So the first myth. So I'm going to mention some of the myths only. So the first myth is childhood and technology shouldn't mix.
Okay.
So they counter-argue that. They say no, they can coexist. Children and technology, childhood and technology can coexist. And based on the research they did, they didn't find alarming signs or symptoms of having the technology around kids produced any very visible negative effects.
Are they talking health or learning?
No, learning, not health.
Okay.
So provided that the usage is within the average rate. So that's the first myth. The second myth was technology hinders social interaction. So what they found in their research is the opposite. With technology, kids are more socially active.
We had a lot of debate with this.
I don't agree with this research. I totally don't agree.
Thank God someone agrees with me.
Yeah. So this is, come on, Hatem, for many years you've been saying that it makes people unsocial.
No, I've never said that. You're fasting, Dr. Weil, and it's not appropriate to say that.
Okay, but within limits. Now, there's
the key word.
Okay, there are some limits, and it's not all the way through. So let me quote what they say. They said, in regards to social interaction, they said, with the right support, digital media can open up avenues of communication over time and distance and provide new and intriguing possibilities for the development of young children's communicative skills. So children can actually, because in an early age they use mobile phones or they use tablets to communicate with others, to communicate with relatives. So from an early age they learn the skill of communicating. They learn the skill of handling a conversation. And this, as per the researchers, it's not me.
I don't agree with the research.
We didn't ask your opinion, Dr. Ryan, so today we'll
you didn't ask, but I have the right to express myself.
Yeah. So for them, this is an avenue. This is a new. It opens intriguing possibilities for communication, and they follow up by saying, this suggests that used thoughtfully. So this is the key word here. It has to be used thoughtfully. So used thoughtfully, technology can enhance rather than hinder social interactions. Okay, so that's the second myth. Dr. Wael doesn't agree with.
It depends how do you define one, communication, and how do you define social interaction? Yeah. How can you develop social interaction when someone is sitting in front of a PC, yeah, communicating by typing? Yeah, will that be able to teach them how to handle, let's say, conflict resolution? Will they be able to learn how to behave physically in a very respectful manner, to whether they're speaking to an adult, yeah, or anyone who is older than them? All of these are communication skills that can't be.
No, let me say this. You are assuming that the kid is doing nothing but playing with his laptop or tablet 24/7. That's not what this research suggests.
No,
what they say is having access to technology versus not having it at all. So having access to technology, balanced access with thoughtful and monitoring, having access to technology, this opens up new skills. It adds up new skills to the kids. Versus
with that.
not having it at all.
In this show, from last year, we've been pro technology all the time.
But the way you describe it here is like kids are consumed all around to technology. That's not what this research suggests. It says really, with a balance.
See, it's only with the communication skills that I don't agree with and make them more sociable. Yeah, I don't think technology will make them more social. Yeah, I think human interaction, direct interaction, that is key in creating more social children. Technology, of course, it's brilliant. It will be able to generate a lot of other skills. But to me, I don't agree that it's social skills. Never.
So the other myth here is children need to get tech savvy for their future lives.
Yeah.
So people think, if I get my kid into technology and so on, this will make them this will land them to a successful career in the future.
Yes.
So their research proved that this doesn't stand that well.
Not with everybody.
Not with everybody. Yeah. And with the change in technology and so on, whatever you teach your kid today might not exist 20 years down the road. Okay. So I found some of the things here are interesting. And there's another myth. I don't know if we have time for that.
Yes, we have time.
Okay. Yes. So one more myth here is technology dominates children's lives. What they say is no, technology doesn't dominate children's life. Again, given the balance and the opportunity for kids to go out and so on, with careful parenting, you can help your kid not to get addicted to technology. Dr. Wael, you seem unpleased.
See, I'm like you. I'm a researcher, yeah, and when I see such claims being made. From a research article, or maybe I don't know. Is this a research article, or is it maybe a media extract of the article? No, it's not a media. No, it's the article itself. I need to question the methodology of the research, the basis of the research, the assumptions of the research, because these are very, very general, conclusions that I find it difficult to really absorb. Knowing how research are being conducted and how restricted you have to be in order to make such very general and elaborate conclusions.
But their conclusions, I think I've read it somewhere in their paper, is that their conclusions are with some reservations. That
there you go.
No, but that's not the norm now. Okay, I made your day, huh?
Yes, that's what I mean.
But at the end, you have to push science. You have to push research somehow. Obviously, any research study has some margins of errors and so on.
And I'm sure within a year or so you'd find a research that will counter this. See, exactly, when I was in the UK, one of the things that, the ping pong between doctors, they play ping pong. One doctor will say, drinking wine, well, of course in their culture, drinking wine is very healthy for the heart. Another research would come, no, it's bad for your health. Alcohol in general is very bad, and wine is no exception. And you would have these researchers back and forth every time, giving an argument and counter argument. It's an endless. So people need to look at the research, but again, at the same time, use their own intellect.
Okay, I think Dr. Ali, we have consumed the time of this show today in the debate. You have 1 minute to conclude with final words. And please hand over this research to Dr. Wael. Let him go and do his homework and find out whether it is true or not. Dr. Ali, the floor is yours.
I think kids have access to technology, very comfort access to technology. It is there whether we like it or not. It's incumbent upon us to help them empower using these gadgets. And there are so many avenues that we can use those gadgets to empower kids in education, in self-development, and in family entertainment as well. That's it.
Dr. Ali bin Amr al-Shidhani, a researcher and an expert in technology, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And we apologize if we made you stay uncomfortable today with the debate. I'm talking about my other half in the show, but I don't want to mention any
Talk
name.
about yourself. I think I just made him smile more.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali, and I hope to see you soon again, inshallah. From me, Hatem al-Absalam, and Dr. Wael al-Harrasi, who is a stubborn hard.
Can I make one comment?
Yeah.
I think you guys make a very good couple for the show. For the show.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Duo.
Duo, okay.